Okay guys, so welcome back, and we're going to finish up this fragment revisited part 2 series. It's going to be probably the last episode, and what we're going to do is we're going to save the instance state. So in order to do that, how we're actually going to implement this is, if we look at this here, okay, when the fragment is added, we wanted to save the state of the fragment added. We want to save which fragment was actually added to the activity. So when we rotate it, it will be able to tell. Or we don't save which fragment, save which position. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable called position up here, okay? And that position variable, we're going to say this dot position equals position. Okay. Or this dot, we'll just say last. Okay, because it makes more sense if we say last position. Okay, so if last position ready to go. So that stores that value in last position. So what we need to do now is we need to actually override another method. And this is called a save instance state. So if we go back to our source and we go to override implement, and we're going to say on save instance state is what we're looking for here. There, on save instance state. Ka-ching. Bundle out state. So what are we doing here? Well, what this does is when you get rid of an activity, you want to save data. Like, let's say you had an activity, a big form, okay, or something a user was filling out, and then you rotate the device. All of those fields will be wiped clean, because don't forget, the activity is completely destroyed and broken down and then rebuilt back up. But in the building up process, you want to add that data back into the form so the user doesn't lose progress. So that's what we're actually going to do here, is we're going to implement a system where this bundle, this on save instance state system, where in on create, this bundle here, we'll show you what that's for in a second, but we're going to save all this in a bundle. So we're actually going to say out state, okay, dot put int, and the key is going to be position. So we're going to save this in the bundle, and its value is going to be last position. Okay, so that's that done. We've got our last position. Now, the original last position is actually going to be equal to -1. -1, because the position should never be -1, okay? Don't forget, if we load in if a fragment is loaded in, the position that it was of the last fragment loaded in gets loaded into this array, or this variable here, and it gets stored. So then what's happened is our activity's been destroyed, and we've stored our int in our out state bundle. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually modify our onCreate method here. So after set content view, when we found all our views, we're going to test for the bundle. Okay, so we're going to say if this bundle is not equal to null. So what's this doing here? Well, the bundle that you saved here, when the activity is recreated, gets passed in here. But let's say we get in a situation where it looks like this, okay? No position has been saved in here, okay? Yeah, no position was actually saved. So when this activity is destroyed, it's going to store a position equal to 1. So the bundle is not equal to null, okay? So if there's data, we need to get the position. So we're going to say int restored position. I'm a little bit hairy on this. Equals saved instance state dot get int and it's going to be our last position, or it's just called position, I believe. Yeah, so we've saved our position and we've restored it. So we've got that, we've got our position. So now what do? We're going to put in a little test here. If last position, or if restored position is equal to -1, in other words, if it's equal to our default position up here. So if it's -1, if it was -1, that means we hadn't clicked on anything. Don't do anything. So if it's not equal to -1, in other words, if a fragment was added, we need to add that fragment into the activity again. So actually, you know what we'll do? We'll actually move this bundle element up here, okay? It just makes sense to move it up there out of the way, because then we can reuse it. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this here. Actually, you know what we can do? We'll actually call this method. So you're probably wondering, what the hell have I done here? Well, I've restored my position out of it, and if it's not equal to -1, what we're going to do is we're going to handle the element click. So this method here will actually handle everything for us. So the position is not equal to 1. That means we have saved an activity somewhere. So we're going to restore it, and when we restore it, it's going to handle that, and it's going to pass it into the new activity depending on what's happened. You see, I'll give you a demonstration of it now. But essentially our activity saved it, and then we're going to pass it in. Okay, so I'm going to say nitrogen. Okay, good. Now we're going to hit home. Now we're going to restore it by bringing up the list of things, so fragments tutorial. And it should have nitrogen will appear back on it. Huzzam. So then if we rotate this, it should load up the other activity automatically. And look at that, look, it load up, and then if we press back, it's loaded it up. See what happened there? So what actually happened was, it's done that, and then if we go control rotate again, nothing should appear. Okay, nitrogen is appearing there. Oh yeah, sure, it was stored earlier. So do you see what happened there? You press control F11 and we rotated it. It was here, and then we could go back. So what happened was it stored position, I believe nitrogen's position 6 or 7 on the table. No, it's element number 7, but it's in position 6. So yeah, position 6 was done. So what happened was it stored that position here, it saved it, and then when we restored our bundle, it found out, okay, there's information in the bundle, and then it goes, okay, the position is not equal to -1, therefore handle that click, so it behaves as if it was clicked, and it loads up the last element you saw. And that's how it works. Now when it comes to saving instance states, it can be very confusing and very meddling, and it's something you need to work out for yourself in your own activity, but I just want to show you how I implement it here. Anyway guys, that's this tutorial, that's this activity and this whole thing. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this source code and I'm going to put it somewhere online, and then you can play around with it. Now I should have links to it in the first episode, but we'll see what happens. I need to find somewhere to post this. I might put it on GitHub or somewhere like that. But anyway guys, as always, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And it's been good talk, and it's been a good series on Fragments Revisited, and I'll see you next time for the next tutorial.